What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Video Homicide, back with another film from 1979. This time it's directed, written, and produced by Jama Fanaka, and that film is Penitentiary. It's an American Blaxploitation film, and it's all about this guy. It starts off with this dude that's like sleeping. He's a hitchhiker. He's like sleeping in the dirt, basically, and these two assholes on dirt bikes come along and they wake him up, and he gets up and he starts hiking along, and this guy's name is Too Sweet. Okay, so Too Sweet's walking along the highway. He gets picked up by this girl, and she's a prostitute. And she's like, I can take you as far as I can take you, but I got to stop off over here for a minute and turn over these two tricks. So she gets to this restaurant where there's these like super sweaty, greasy bikers like sitting there. And they're like, we don't want nothing to do with you if you just screwed him. Of course, Too Sweet being a black dude, they're being racist. And a huge brawl ensues, and Too Sweet gets knocked out. Then he wakes up and he's in prison, right? He's in prison for like this murder, and it's weird because it kind of feels like it starts off like in a different, like in a county jail setting, and then 6 months pass and now he's in penitentiary, and he meets all these like really fucking greasy assholes. Like there's this guy named Half Dead who he has to bunk with, and there's another guy, Joe, and he's got like a bitch named Jeannie who's this like skinny dude that's like kind of like timid and stuff. And there's this old man named Seldom Seen, okay? And Seldom Seen is sort of like your Brooks from Shawshank Redemption, if you want to call him that. And the thing about this prison is they're about to have this huge event happen where they have all these boxing matches. And like, if you win a boxing match, you get a conjugal visit. And I think that's like a really cool little idea in itself. So right out of the gate, the first night, everyone's like, Half Dead is gonna bang Too Sweet. Like he's gonna break him. I'm gonna break this Bronco kind of thing. And in the cell, a huge fight ensues. And this fight is almost like on par with the fight in They Live, where it's like a long, drawn-out fight. It's very bloody. It's very sweaty. And it all ends with Too Sweet stealing this guy's box of chocolate bars. They're Mr. Good bars, because Too Sweet has like this addiction to Mr. Good bars. I know why, because those fucking chocolate bars kick ass, but he kind of like, proves his point, being like, don't fuck with me in here. And he gets like kind of not friendly, but like he kind of like wants to look after this guy Eugene, who's Joe's bitch. And Jeannie is convinced to join this boxing league, and then Too Sweet ends up joining as well, and they all kind of train each other under the training of Seldom Seen, this old dude. And a bunch of fights happen in this movie, and they're all like really fun. This is like one of those like late 70s films where there's like lots of stuff to look at even in the background. Like at one point there's a guy like during one of these boxing fights where there's a guy that's holding like one of those trolls, like those troll dolls. And I remember thinking like, what the fuck, like what? And like there's this fat like gay dude in jail who's like dressed up as a woman and all that stuff. And like it's kind of like that movie Longest Yard. That's the only thing I can describe it to, or compare it to rather. Like in Longest Yard, like Tracy Morgan is like the gay guy, and there's like a bunch of like the gay dudes that are all dressed up as women and stuff. So there's that, like this cheerleading squad always on the one side of the boxing ring. And it's out of control. Like to look at all this stuff in the background, like even like the little, like the goons, like Joe's like goon squad, like they're all just like dipshits, and they all have like these weird little things about them. Like they might have like either a speech impediment, or like they're always like jittery and stuff. And it's so out of control. But anyways, these fights start happening, and of course that Too Sweet is going to end up winning them in the end. But they kind of make it out like, Too Sweet, you're good, but you need like another year, so we're gonna go with Joe. So Joe gets to leave the prison and go pursue a boxing career, because the lieutenant, or like not the warden of the prison, but the lieutenant and his brother-in-law, who's like a political figure or something like that, that's also dabbling in boxing, they get Joe out. Now hold on, before he actually gets out, Too Sweet's like, what, fuck that. Or excuse me, I almost just totally jumped across one of the biggest points of the film. So Joe and all of his goons and Half Dead, they're gonna kill Too Sweet, because Too Sweet won a boxing fight, and he got to have a conjugal visit, and he's coming back into the like their cell, like their like area. And Jeannie, who's like respects Too Sweet, knows that something bad's about to happen, so he kind of like hides out for a second, and Too Sweet comes into the cell block, and Half Dead and all these guys, like, they start rushing at him, and Genie jumps in front of Too Sweet, taking the knife from Half Dead and dying right there. And, you know, Genie's laying on the floor, and he says he's sorry to Too Sweet and all this, and Too Sweet's like, no, don't be sorry, man, like, you fucking, like, you're good, you're all right, and all that kind of stuff, and he dies right there. And then Genie's like, you know what, fuck this, we're having a fight, like, we're gonna have ourselves a fight. So him and Joe have this ending boxing fight where Too Sweet like kicks his ass, and it's great. And it's because at one point in the fight, like near the end of the fight, you think that Joe is winning, but then Too Sweet like uses the memories, like the flashbacks of Genie dying there, to really get himself back up, and then knocks him out, and then he's released from prison. And Seldom Seen, who's been in prison for like 35 years, he claims he's 65 years old, and of the 65 years, he's been in prison for like 45 years or something like that. And he doesn't know how he's going to be able to live outside, because when when he was a kid, or before he went in, TV was like a thought, and now it's like, you know, cinemas and all that kind of stuff. So, excuse me, not cinemas, but like, you know, TV shows, all that stuff, because this movie is 1979. And man, I just had a really good time with this. This isn't the usual type of film that I'd watch, like a boxing film, or, you know, any kind of really sports films, stuff like that, like Rocky, like not interested in any of that kind of stuff. So, but I did have fun with this. This is a Blaxploitation film with good acting, good characters. There's actually 2 sequels, and I don't know if I'll check out the sequels, but I'm glad I checked out the first one. So I had a good time with it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you motherfuckers that watch my channels or watch my videos will probably enjoy the film at least a little bit if you're into the Blaxploitation thing, or maybe you're into the boxing films, you might get a kick out of it. I don't know, but I had fun with it. Like I said, I don't know about the sequels, but we'll see. Maybe one day. I'm pretty sure that Vinegar Syndrome actually put out releases of these films. I could be wrong about that, but I'll look into that later. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you have a great weekend. It is Friday. It's Friday, 12:30, and the afternoon, it's lunchtime, so get yourself a burrito and get yourself a Diet Coke and enjoy the weekend. Leave a 666 in the comments if you watched the video all the way through, and with that being said, adios.